Now, the AI is not just a tool or a technology. It is a tool. I mean, it's a resource which will overcome your cognitive gap. So what are our cognitive gaps? For example, first one is actually knowledge gap. So we don't know everything, but AI will simply help you struggling to understand the legal terms. Okay, now AI will help you that one. So we have attention gap. That means there is a 100-page book that we want to read. We cannot attentively read all 100 pages. We will run out of patience. Okay, similarly, we have memory gap. I want to tell you something important, but in the course of conversation, I will forget it. And bias gaps, that means we will partially support one thing and we will ignore other things. So these are the limitations which actually has curtailed our progress in the last 10 or 20, 20 or 30 years. Okay, now AI is actually solving this problem. How is it solving? I will tell you here. See, first thing, that this is also super important. See, AI is the world brain. So normally what happens is when you are in a learning process, you depend on your teacher. He has a brain, and you depend on your classmates who are also have a brain and experience and all. But all the much of the learning actually happens through your conversation with them. But now today AI has created what we call world brain. So that means it is a gathering of all human knowledge, make it freely available to everyone, and help people to make better decisions and avoid misinformation and manipulation. That means earlier we used to go to an expert and consult because he's a no expert and he has a knowledge, he has an active brain who will help you. Now, for the first time, you actually have a space, an entity called AI, which is a world brain. That means which is a collection of all the information of in the whole world into one brain, which is available and accessible to you. It's a global, distributed, updated. So every 10 minutes, every 10 seconds, it get updated. So how this will help you over the this your cognitive gap, I will tell you. Okay, next. Second one is actually AI is a cognitive engine. So I told you cognitive gaps. So I already listed certain, like, see, there was a power gap, steam engine removed that. There was knowledge gap, printing engine removed that. There was a trust gap, the blockchain removed it. Similarly, now we have cognitive AI is a cognitive engine. It will actually overcome all your mental limitations. For example, it can perceive data, it can see, hear, read, and sense, then actually analyze and give it to you. It can understand and pattern and context, reason behind possibilities, and actually learn and improve over time. That's one of the strongest feature of AI is when it keeps learning on its own and decide and take actions. So there was no technology before. Excuse me, before the AI, which was capable of all this. They were technologies like steam engine, which can do your work, electricity, which can give you light, petrol, which will give you power, certain things. But there was no technology which will actually enhance your mental capabilities. So it is like a brain that does not just store data, it processes, analyzes, and acts intelligently. So it's almost a kind of another living person who is going to help you all the time. So point number one, it's a phenomenon. Point number two, it's a world brain. Point number three, it's a cognitive engine. So that means it has knowledge, it can share you, and it can help you to overcome your barriers. So now this is how it's going to help you. For example, you have a knowledge gap. That means we don't know everything. How AI will help you? Instant information, summaries, simple explanation. So if you want to understand, like, for example, if you want to understand the blockchain, you can say, like, you can go to one of the chat GPTs or LM and say, like, kindly explain me blockchain in 10 sentences. So this kind of a things was not available earlier. Attention gaps, that means we are not able to focus on a certain things for 10 or 20 minutes. If there is a 500-page document, then our attention spans will be limited, then we will not be covering everything seriously. Whereas these are capable of that one. That means they can monitor data, they can monitor trends, they can monitor streams. Memory gaps, this is one of the greatest limitation that we have. We go to examination completely prepared, or we and try to answer all the questions. Then once the examination is over, we actually regret, I knew this, I did not write this, because there is something called memory gap that is also solved by AI. And we have bias gap, that means supporting A, supporting B. Okay, that kind of a thing. And processing gaps, that means although we have all the information with us, we will not be able to use it or process it because of the human limitation. So Because AI is a phenomenon, because it's a cognitive engine, because it is a world brain, it can solve all these problems or help you solve all these problems in an instantaneously and in a very, very fast manner. So humans and AI will create better together. This is a very super important point or information that you have to note, because as a part of your career, you'll be doing many things where actually if you can make AI your like progress partner in progress, that will take you to a new heights. The moment you try to start ignoring AI for whatever the reason, that would limit the scope of your progress. So what actually AI do it for you? It can sense on behalf of you, imagine and compose. That means you want to write a story, you can just tell a situation to see, assume that there is a boy and a girl and they are having a conversation. Write a story on this, it will do that. That means it will give you the creative half of your thinking work. That means you don't have to think every dialogue, you don't have to think every conversation, it will just generate that. Then it can construct, for example, then after the story you can say like, give me a small, create an image in which a boy and a girl are standing and conducting a conversation. That will also do it. That means execution work also is done by the AI itself. Then observe. Not only that it does both this, it also keeps observing what is actually happening all along. So by doing this, actually, it supports your entire mental activities. If you forget, it will help you to recall. If you find it hard to compose an email, it will help you to do that. So this is a very powerful technology which can actually replicate all your mental activities, and also it can support you so that actually it can take the drudgery work out of you but make you more and more creative. So now I've just completed the general introduction to AI. Then I will come to your topic, introduction to build and deploy AI. As a computer science students, you must be understanding what this build 2.0 and build deploy 2.0. I will just try to explain that. See, build and deploy to is the modern AI augmented. That means from now onwards, whatever that you should be doing, it must be AI augmented. That means you should take some kind of a contribution from AI and automation driven. That means you are not doing any activity or any work. You are asking machine to get it done. Automation is a process where you list the activities and assign it to a machine or a tool to get it done through a script. So the first point is, it is modern, it is AI augmented and automation driven. And how do you do that? For example, to launching software. For example, this session is all about web development. Web also is a kind of a software, whether it's a website or a web app or any tools that you are doing. So if you are using AI augmented, automation driven and modern approach to creating, launching, then you are doing a web development, build to, for faster, smarter and more accessible than ever. Okay, this is the first point. So how does actually AI help you? It will help you AI assistance. AI assistance is tools which will assist you in a particular activity. For example, there can be an AI assistant for creating a code. There can be an AI assistant for creating an image. Okay. So then second one is actually low code or no code. So coding was one of the greatest and one of the biggest challenges for the software development. So we want good coders, but the number of coders that we get every year is actually less than what we need. So now AI is actually coming with certain tools where actually you don't need coders, because a software or an AI application can generate that code. That means we are making more and more people programmers, not without they being coding it. And cloud native architecture, what it actually means is, now any application that you develop should be based or housed in cloud. It cannot be sit on your server, a local server on your laptop. A continuous delivery pipelines. What it actually means is, now instead of actually waiting for the completely created software, you are actually delivering software feature by feature. For example, if you look at Instagram or Facebook and all, they'll be adding features, one in the morning, one in the evening, once in a month and all. So this continuous delivery, both customers expect that, and actually you also must be delivering, and that is possible only if you go for 2.2. Okay, and smart observability. That means it is not only that AI will help you to do the work, it will also help you to observe. That means how many people are using on this, how many people are clicking on this, how many people are actually using this particular feature and all. So build to means you don't always need to write every line of code. This is a fundamental thing. We have been told that work is worship, coding is everything. No, coding can be delegated to machines. So this is the first thing that you should know. And your job is to find out those codes, those tools which will generate code. AI can generate designs, suggest features, and co-write logic. So it's not entirely human activity, the software development. It is also a partnership with the AI. Anyone, not just developers, can prototype usable tools. So this means by doing this, what we are doing is we are getting more and more people who are earlier afraid of coding or shy of coding into the development community. Speed is favored. That means we don't wait for 10 days or 30 days to release a new feature. There is something called agile development, which will help you to uh, iterate factors or features and release them every week. Okay, so that is what is need to be needed. And now MVP is actually minimum viable product, they say. Okay, now you start, suppose you want to develop a word processor or actually a document creator, then you start with a document creator which just types characters, then you add fonts, then you add colors, then you add documentations. Build to means using AI everywhere. Deployment means deployment happens automatically and continuously. That means it is no manual. So remember the term, it is continuously and automatically. That means human intervention is not there. They have programmed it, they have automated it, they have scheduled it, and it is happening. Testing, scaling, rollback, all guided and handled by AI. So that means AI will tell you what to test. AI will tell you what to roll back and other things. Release are safer with canary, blue, green, and productive roadblocks. That means automatically AI will set if this is not happening or if this happens, this is a callback action. Feedback loops from user to developers and real time and intelligent. Oh, excuse me. So now everything happens on a real time. So the summary is this: build and develop 2.2 is AI plus automation plus cloud plus speed and democratization. That means anybody can develop, and it is not just for developers. I told you, because of no code, we don't expect everybody to code. And even if there's a team member who doesn't code, from them also AI will help. So earlier, software development was very hard because only coders, only junkies can actually do that. Now there is AI, no code, automation, and make it fun and fast. No need to master complex coding to start. And your ideas plus smart tools, and you will get a real apps and real quick. Okay. Now I will show you how you can start using applications. So at this point, let me give a 2 or 3 minutes break and figure out are you following me up, and is there any questions that you can shoot at me now?
So,
Anything you want to ask regarding AI? What does this build to and deploy to mean? What is the role of AI in that? And how actually developers should be approaching this whole process, not just entirely doing everything manually at a personal level, but trying to figure out and integrating tools into their activities. That was the thing that is covered so far.
yes, I had a question that AI also makes some errors. So, how should someone who does not know coding tackle those errors?
Okay, see, I'll tell you one thing. See, now, until AI came, actually, as a programmer, as a developer, you are the coder. That means you manually coded, and you also had some errors within that. Now it has moved to a AI platform, so AI will generate code. Now the labor of generating code is actually freed from you, but you still continue to supervise the activities. You edit them. It is like, see, you write an answer, and the examiner will check that. Okay. So the job of examiner is not to write the answer, but it is to edit and check whether it is correct or not. Now, to answer your question, now if AI is doing certain mistakes, now your job is not to write that code, but you just go through that code. It's called actually reviewing in software technology there, and find out those errors because you have experienced that. And fortunately for us, even there are tools which will help you in finding those errors. So point number one, you are not writing code, but your job is still there to supervise and review the codes generated by AI. Then that job is not as hard as the writing the code itself.
Okay, sir.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall I move forward?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I had one question.
Oh,
As regarding about web development, how do you
yeah.
see AI evolving in web development, and which field of it's influence it most?
I'll just cover the next slides. Probably it will answer your question, but I remember your question. If the slides have not answered that, I will answer you back. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. So now, if you are developing a web application or anything related to web development would mean starting from a website to web apps to web systems and all. So now, when you are developing a website or a web application, there are certain challenges that you will face. For example, understanding gap. That means you don't completely understand what a final customer want to like to get. Okay, so that is one of the challenges. Then we have a design gap. So how do I develop an application which works on web, which works on laptops, which works on mobile, and which also works on TV? Okay, so that actually will create what we call design gaps. Then the communication gaps. That means you have a feature, but some many times actually what happens is in MS Word and all, there are thousands of features which you are not using because the system doesn't communicate very clearly that what I have to do at that given point. Documentation gap. Some people like to do the work, but then they are not interested in documentation. So that will create a gap. Then debugging gap. So earlier somebody was asking me a question like, ask the question like, see, if AI does the mistake, how do you correct that? For that, you should have this debugging gap. That means you should be capable of going through that code and figuring it out. This is a mistake. This is a logical error. This is a syntactical error and all. So that gap is there. That means that is a limitation. You write code and you are asking me to check and how to debug that one. That is a problem. Okay. And creativity gap. That means coming with new and interesting ideas which can get into our web applications, our websites and other things. Security gap. This is one of the greatest things because whenever a website is actually hacked, what actually the reason because there's somebody has left a hole through which actually a hacker has entered your system. Similarly, testing gaps. What actually happens is now software is written, it is debugged, then you have to test it. So we will not be able to figure out all the testing cases. Based on your experience, you may suggest 7 or 8, but there may be theoretically 15 or 17 test cases that you have to check. So AI will, when this is one limitation. So these are all same like skill gap. You know how to write what to write, but you will not be knowing the code at all. The solution is this. Okay, now all these problems are actually solved by AI. I will show you how to do that. See, for example, now you have a problem clarity gap. That means you have a problem, but you don't understand the whole problem. For example, assume that you are developing a website for e-commerce startup needs to prioritize the right feature. So there are thousands of customers. And now you want to decide which features should be developing and releasing. That is not possible humanly because, and as a developer, you will have that problem. So how AI will help? AI will use what is called NLP tool. So now all these e-commerce websites, they have this kind of a assistance where actually a customer will call them. There will be phone conversations and there will be ordering cancellation and all. That data can be used by NLP, that is Natural Language Processing Tool, analyze thousands of customer reviews and tickets and help you. Okay, given this kind of quantum of about 20,000 customer calls that I have analyzed, and I will give you a data. I will tell you a data and also suggest that these are the 5 features that you should go ahead. Okay, so that means if you have a problem clarity in terms if you are developing a website and what features to be added, AI will certainly help you. So for example, there are tools also I have suggested you. So if this is a question, then you should be asking this kind of a thing. Okay, so there is a website called Delighted AI, which will help you to do that thing. Okay, I think you can see that whether. Okay, I don't think you are seeing that. Okay, share this tab instead. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
okay, I will come back. So the point is this. Now, if you identify a problem, okay, if you identify a problem and if it is a mentally hard to solve that problem, because how do I find which feature is liked by most people in a group of or in a batch of 20,000 customers call records. So AI will help you in that. And these are many tools which are there. So what actually happens as a result, clarity on what matters to most users. So AI will help you both in identifying those features and also implementing that features. The second problem is idea bottleneck. So generating new idea is not easy because it's not just generation of idea, that actually it is to be tested, it should be verified and all. So for assume that fintech designers recycle old UI layouts. So now what happens is every time you are doing, you can come out with a new UI. UI is something, one of the most impressive things. But most people actually they recycle the old UI layouts, because if you look at any banking application in India today, they have identical, almost practically identical kind of a interface. They could have come with a more interesting UI interfaces. They don't do that. So that happens because there is a mental barrier, there is a mental limitation on generating new ideas. But actually, AI in action will generate. For example, a generative AI suggests novel UI flows and user journeys. So if you use generative AI like ChatGPT and all, if you ask the question like, kindly give me 3 possible ways in which I can have an UI for my banking application, it will suggest certain things. It may be entirely old things, but then it will suggest. Then if you say all these 3 is something which is old and done and dusted, then actually it will help you to generate 3 more. Okay. So one application here, I mean, one is actually is this one. So there's something called Figma, which will help you to sorry. Yeah, what is this? Okay, one second, excuse me, there was some problem. Okay. So the point is this, now you have a task in web development, either finding a feature to be included or actually creating a new AI. AI will come with both tools to help you to do that, figure it out, and also develop them. Outcome, faster and broader ideation. That means you can generate too many ideas or many ideas in a day and test them also. Third one is actually technical skill gap. This is very important because see, assume that you are a non-programmer or you are not interested in writing program at all. So you're a non-technical founder and needs an app that you want to develop an app. But to develop an app, you need a coding skill. But now the AI will help you come out with that. Now we have something called low code and no code platforms with AI generated logic and layout. So that means it will help you to develop an app for your company, although you are not a computer science engineer or also not a technical person. So for example, these are the tools which are available for doing that. Okay. Outcome, prototypes and without developers. That means you can do away with the developers if you are a non-technical person. Architectural complexity and gap. Okay. And earlier somebody asked me a question, what are the features that should be focusing on when we are developing a web development? The first one is actually architectural complexity. That means when you develop an applications, earlier it used to happen on a one operating system on one machine kind of a thing. Now today, when you are going to web-based applications, you don't know the destination. That means somebody may be accessing that particular application from his mobile. Somebody may be developing his, accessing application from his laptop. So then somebody may be using either his desktop or his TV or any digital device. Now, the biggest problem in web development is architecture. That means how does my application will fit into different devices and different contexts. For example, somebody may be using an Android mobile, somebody using an iOS mobile. How does it fit into all those things? There's something called responsible or responsive design and all. So the question of the earlier person who was like, if there's one important thing that is there to be considered in web development, it is the architecture complexity. So secondly, suppose you want to move from one platform to another. You have a very ready to run program in Android. Then how would you move into iOS? So that is also a big deal. Okay. Migrating from monolith to microservices. That means monolith is actually a system on Unix, a system on Windows. But microservices is something which happens on the cloud computing and platform. AI in action. Architectural assistant suggests systems designed based on the best practice. It says if you are migrating something from Android to iOS, and these are the suggested ways. You are migrating from this to Unix, then it will help you there. So these are the different tools which are there. Smarter architectural decision. This is architecture is the first thing that you should be concerned and bothered. Test coverage. So I told you, because at the end of the the software developments, you are already tired and you don't either have a time to test your system because you are in a hurry to release it, the product to the market and all. So that time actually QA team missing critical edge cases. That means they don't test it all. They will not test it for every possible scenario. So AI will help you automated smart test generation based on the changes and usage. So if you say I'm testing this for Android platform, it will use its knowledge base to say that these are the likely chances of Android error or to hash problems. Then it will try to answer you this question. So now for that we already have a tool. So outcome more reliable and scalable testing. Deployment risk. Deployment is the second part of the software development. Actually, you release your product to a final customer. So deployment would mean actually you can go to the customer site and deploy your project, or you can release it on mobiles. You can release it on different operating systems. Okay, these actually are risk-aware pipelines. That means they say, okay, if you are developing this, these are the minimum memory requirement. These are the minimum the technology requirement and all. Okay, so we have also tools for that things. Monitoring blind spot. This is especially when you are security. So what happens once we develop a website and then we let it, and hackers will already trying. So now you should be monitoring the blind spot. What is the point or what is the hole that I have left through which actually hacker can enter? So this can also be automated using AI tools. For example, there are things like data log, watchdog, anomaly detection with AI, and all those things would happen. Feedback and iteration. So these are the different stages within your software development. For each, there is a challenge. Okay. And there is a challenge and there is a AI solution. There are a product and that you should be using. So from now onward, the instruction is this. If you're building something and developing something, if you identify a problem, and if you're not able to identify a problem, ask AI to identify the problem by giving the description. If you are not, then there is a tool which will help you to solve that problem. So any question at this point of time? Have I answered the question, the second question asked by somebody else? So he said he was asking like, what is...
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now that I have told you a theory and all, now I'll be covering certain, suggesting some projects which are, which you can take up as your build and deploy results, case studies. Okay. But what you should be knowing is this can be started without any coding knowledge or without any system knowledge. So one that you can think actually is personal expense tracker app. Okay. What to build? Simple app to record daily expenses, categorize them and visualize them monthly. Tools that you need is, they're all AI tools: Glide, Figma, which I already shown you, Bubble and Chat GPT. And skills gained, you can understand, you'll realize what is data structure, UI design, basic, okay. And this is create, reuse, use and destroy, okay. Operations and authentication. So this one very simple. It takes not more than 2 days for you to develop, and it lists everything. What is the objective? What are the tools which you are used, and what is the tools? What is the skills that you would gain? And the second application that you can consider is AI-powered feedback analyzer. Okay, a small web app that allows people to paste customer reviews, and instantly get themes, sentiment, and key points. For example, at the end of this session, actually, you can use this app to check how 50 or 60 people who attended this session actually thought about this presentation. Okay, you can use Monkey Learn. These are the tools again which are available. I will give the list just after this. Natural language processing, because you are reading the customer feedbacks, working with the APIs, and simple AI integration. This also you can develop an app where students can log in, study hours, set weekly targets.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt, but your
No,
screen is dark.
it's not coming. Screen is not there, is it?
So actually
Okay.
the presentation is stuck. It isn't moving.
Okay, I will do it again. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay. So it's not moving, is it? Okay.
So you can just try to present again. Maybe it will fix.
Is it not coming now?
No, sir.
Now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, it
It's
is.
visible
It
now.
is.
Oh, sorry for that. I didn't notice that one. Okay. So this was the previous presentation. This everybody saw?
No, sir, it wasn't
No.
visible.
Now this one? So what was the last slide that you saw? This one?
So the Figma one.
Okay. That is there. Okay, the Figma one is here. This was the Figma one, right? Okay. So after that, you have not seen anything, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay. The whole idea was this. Sorry. You alerted me a little earlier. Anyway, I am sharing this. Okay. So now, so that means idea bottleneck means when you're developing an application, sometimes you don't get an idea either for a new UI or something like that. Then there is a tool for that. These are the tools which are available. Similarly, some technical gap, either you don't know coding or you don't know architectural types and other things. Then there are certain tools which will help you to do that. For example, there are low code and no code platforms which will allow you describe what you want to do and the system will generate the code that you want. The next one is actually architectural complexity, and this I think I answered. I mean verbally, I mean orally you must have listened, but you can see it here. So architectural problems are like, see, we have couple of things like we have Unix, we have Windows platforms, and we also Android, we have iOS and all. Now, what happens is when you develop an application, moving from one application area to another one is actually is called migrating. So now if there is a problem and if you don't know, then AI will help you to do that. For example, there are things like AWS Cloud Formation Assistant and all those things will help you to do that. So the whole message is this: there are certain 8 tasks in a development of build and deploy to. For each of this, there are challenges, mental challenges, and it's the promise of AI that it will overcome that cognitive gap, and it comes through telling you the problem and also giving you the tools to solve that problem. Okay. Test coverage. I told you, whenever somebody develops an application, by the end of the development, he's get tired. So testing is something which is done fairly carelessly or with a very limited resources. But that many a times it gets risky because when you're releasing a product to a customer and all, if there's a bug or if there is an error kind of a thing, that will actually give a very bad mouth publicity and all. So for that, actually, also AI will help you with certain things like testing, Mabel, low code generation and all, and which will help you to overcome those errors. I mean, that problems. Deployment is another point in this. That's what is deploy 2.0 means. Now your application is ready, then you should actually put it on the customer's hand. So it should be in their systems, or there it should be on their servers, or it should be there on mobile devices, or it should be on their laptops. And that deployment is also a risk because we don't know everything about the destination. So whenever I want to download an application, normally it will tell you need, this is the basic minimum RAM capacity you have to have, this is the basic minimum memory that you should have, this must be the speed, and this all actually pose a lot of risk for you, and that is also taken care by AI. Monitoring, that I told you earlier, somebody asked like about security. So now once you deploy a system, then people start using, there is always a chance that a hacker will come. And how will the hacker will come, and how will he will figure out a blind spot? That is actually taken care by what is called monitoring. So monitoring a particular system it will be looking at all the ports and saying that whether somebody has pinged it, somebody has entered it here and all. But AI will help you in doing that one. Feedback, iteration gap. So this project you have seen, I don't know you have seen, I will show you. Okay. So now based on whatever that I have told so far, you can actually do this following project, which will take not more than 2 or 3 days, and to understand every aspect of a AI enabled development. So the first one that I suggest you is actually this one. Okay. On personal tracker. So it is a simple app to record your daily expenses, categories them, and visualize monthly. And you can use any of these tools. I will give you the tool list and also the link to them. Okay. And then Chat GPT for this one. And by the end of this 3rd day, you'll be learning data structure, UI design, basic CRUD applications, I mean operations and all. And AI powered feedback. So assume that people are giving customer reviews For example, at the end of this session, you may give your review on my presentation. So this application will help you to analyze that and give you the results. So about 55 people attended this session. 70% of the people felt like this. 60% of the person felt like this. Okay, and this application will not only help you to get the grittiness of the web development and build and deploy too. Also, it will introduce you to AI-powered tools which will help you to simplify your job. A study planner, an app where students can log study hours, set weekly targets, track habits, and get visual progress reports. That means you are studying for examination from 1st January. Then you can use this app saying that this much hours I have spent on this, and this is the number of chapters that I have covered, other things you can do. And there are many tools which are available. And what would happen is actually it will help you to understand what is onboarding. That means once after software is developed, then you need to onboard customer, that whole process, simple analytics and things like that. This is very important, and not at this point because you are probably in first and second year, but when you enter the third year and fourth year, then finding a placement is a great is a great chance and a great challenge. Now you can make an AI-powered resume analyzer, which will help you to upload a resume and get instant feedback on skill gaps, keyword matches, and job description. Assume that I will upload my resume to your application developed by one of you. Then it will tell me, okay, you are good in this, you are not so good in this, you are terribly bad in this. So that kind of a assume that you can do, and you can use Open API for that, Replit, and other things. We will learn what we call prompt engineering, document parsing, basic front-end, back-end applications. Okay, this is a mini DevOps project. So DevOps is actually development and operation at the same time. A basic dashboard where you can enable and disable new features to test users. So this is exactly what happens in what is called A/B testing. See, whenever a company like Facebook or Insta, they develop a new feature, they don't actually release that feature to all the millions of users. They will release it only a subset or a group of people. Okay, so that is what is called enabling and disabling features for certain people and not for all. You can use these tools, okay, Sentry and all. Understanding the deployment safety, that means whether this deployment has gone well, whether it's correctly accepted by the customers, whether they are using the features or not, other things. Okay, so any question at this point of time?
No, sir, everything is clear.
Okay, now let me summarize what I've done is actually I told you the power of AI. That is, it will help you to overcome the cognitive gaps. And as a professional in a computer science field or a software development end, people normally have 8 to 10 gaps, like from technical gaps to comprehensibility gap to architectural gap. There are tools available for that. Now I am going, and I also suggested you some 5 projects, 5 projects which you can take up to test AI features and also discover your gaps and all. Now actually I will show you a list of tools which you can use. Able to see this sheet?
Yes, sir.
Depending on actually, because I have added URLs also to that, so that actually the moment you want to use that tools, you can start using that one. Okay. Okay. So so I think I have come to the end of my presentation. Okay. So once you know these tools, and I'm open for question and answers. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
one of the questions I've had is that a lot of trend I'm seeing right now is people building their own agentic AIs to help them with building web apps and doing multiple other software automations. So I wanted
Okay.
to ask, is it really that easy to make as people make it out to be? Because people just say it's a, I don't know, 3 to 4 hour process of building one. So could you elaborate on
Yes.
that?
Yeah, possible. See, okay. See, AI basically actually like Chat GPT and all, they are computer-based systems. They sit on a system and they don't enter your environment. For example, I am giving this presentation from my seminar hall. So now they don't enter. Chat GPT doesn't enter my room, right? Okay. Now there are certain applications that should happen in our environment. For example, I want a tool here which will close my door. Okay, which will close my door based on the temperature available, or actually which will clean my table. So pure AI cannot help in doing that. I need to develop some hardware outside this AI, outside this AI, and ask that tool to depend on Chat GPT for getting information and other things, and then act. So that is called an agent. So agent is a tool that you develop for your environment or any particular environment. For example, robot is an agent which works in a factory or a canteen. Okay. Now the question is actually, is robotic engineering or like agentic thing is very simple or very difficult? It is very simple because it all depends on the task that you are giving it to that. Okay. For example, all that I want is to close my door or open my door depending on the temperature. Okay. Then what this agent will do is actually it will be keep talking to Chat GPT to find the temperature in the environment, and that temperature will be reading and then closing that one. Similarly, assume that I want to my agent to open the door and close the door depending on the person's entering or not. Then actually part of computer vision and the tools which are supplied by say ChatGPT will be used to recognize those things, the people who have come, and then open the door. Okay. So let me summarize. So agentic AI is nothing but developing an application or a tool for your particular environment. Whereas general AI is universal. That means I open Chat GPT anywhere and the question, answer, everything stays on the computer's network or something like a virtual network. But suppose you want AI to be used for your application and in your context, then the only way that you can do is through an agent. So that agentic would mean like say, I want an application which will supervise all my students who are taking examination so that they don't talk to each other. And suppose somebody talk teaching, it will catch. But the software will also be coming from the general AI. And it is easy. The last line that you asked, like, does it, does it that easy, which can be developed in 4 or 5 days? Certainly it can be done, but provided you narrow down your scope, that means my application will only look at the people, and if they turn this side, that side, then only identify. So you can certainly do that. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any other question from anybody?
Yes, sir. Sir, so I had a question that as a new learner, what skills
Okay.
should I focus on to stand out in this AI focused era? Like, what are the special skills apart from AI? Like,
No, actually, I will ask. I will answer your question very easily. See, it's like this. See, now we have resources in AI. Okay. Now we also have resources in build and development. The question that now you should be asking is like, what is the requirement which is there, which is not fulfilled? Okay. So now earlier, what used to happen is actually you want to find. It was very economically difficult to find the requirement of a person, or for example, you are living in a campus there. So can you imagine, are there, these are the difficulties, these are the challenges students face in this campus? Can I develop a software for that? So discovering that local requirement is the biggest challenge, because the tools at global level are already available, because Google is already there, there is no search engine. ChatGPT is already there, there is no another LLM. Okay. So the first skill that you should be developing is very simple. It is actually finding one simple application which can help your environment. For example, I have listed here, see, I think you are seeing this, right? Okay. So now personal expenses tracker. So this application is, commercially already available, but to understand, realize, and use it in your context is important. So the first skill that you should be developing is, how do I find a new requirement, however small and however unique it is, and then start thinking about building a solution for that. Once you do that, or once you have the faint ideas, AI will help you to clarify that requirement. AI will help you with tools to build that one. It will help you to deploy it. It will help you to release it. Okay. So my one line answer to your question is actually the basic skill that you need in the modern world is to find a new requirement and come out with a product for that. So replicate, for example, writing one more uh, word processor, writing one more operating system, writing one more uh, application, that will not help you. You need to figure it out. What is that small application that we can uh, uh, is required by the public? I can give you an example. For example, see, there is a new application called Time Left. So Time Left is an application which will tells you how many hours you have left before, I mean, how many time that you have left before the end comes. For example, suppose on Monday you say like time left, and then it says like you have 56 hours left in this week for your work. But suppose on Friday evening that you have used that application, then it says you have 48 hours left for your weekend. So, but this, when very simple. Actually, all it says is time left. I will help people to keep alerting them regarding the time left. So that was now that has become a big application today. So what was the greatest achievement of that developer? He said there are occasions where people want to know what is time left, and then he developed an application around that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
I think I have answered your question.
Yes, sir.
So you asked like it could be as simple as time left, or it could be as simple as editing a document. Yeah. So any other questions you want to ask me?
Yes, sir. I want to ask, like, sometimes it happens when we run out of tokens on the AI.
Yeah. Okay.
And so how to tackle that problem? Because sometimes we need more features in our application.
Okay. Okay. See the tokens. Tokens. You mean the messages that you can send and get answer to from a AI tool, right?
Yes, sir.
No, the usage part is it?
Yeah.
See, you need to understand the three things actually. Okay, these are resources and they want to popularize and all, but there is a cost factor to that, right? So now, as long as they have certain estimates, so if this is a student project, and if these are the features they are allowed to do, and they will help you. But there is a time which comes actually the features will become largely commercial kind of a thing. So the idea of most of these companies is like, see, I will encourage my student community to develop their project and all. If there is a commercial potential for this, at that time I'm going to charge them, and this is very reasonable also. So there are two ways of looking at this. So suppose you are running short of tokens to add a feature and all, then make a kind of a inventory and see that are there any features that I've already added which are not needed, or are there any features which are already added which can be combined into one feature, or is there any integrative way actually I can alternatively move these features so that actually I can minimize the number of features so and eliminate them and actually synergize them and create space for the next feature. Okay, and so that I can use existing limits of tokens for developing this particular feature. Yeah. Because if you look at anything, for example, in Google also, it doesn't give you space more than 100 GB. Or if you go to anywhere, even Chat GPT also, after certain messages, queries, it says your quota is over. But that is a limitation which is very real. Now the question comes, can I reduce my storage requirement? That's one thing. Or can I optimize my storage requirement one? Because I cannot remove that upper limit of 100 GB storage space, but then I can economize. I can smartly do certain things, eliminating or deleting which I don't need, and then I can go up. Similarly, if you are running short of tokens, just make an inventory of your existing tokens, check whether they can be eliminated, they can be combined, they can be optimized, they can be synergized, then move on. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So anything
Yes.
else you
Hello,
want to?
sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sure.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, I just
Okay.
want to ask, how do I avoid becoming over dependent on AI tools while building a project?
No. See, at any given moment, actually, you are under development, under dependent on them. Actually, you don't depend more on that. Okay, but see, you should. It's like, see, this question you can ask for anything. See, how do you become don't become over dependent on food? Okay, so there's something called dieting. Okay, so how don't you become I mean, what is actually linked to, I mean, using or addicted to LinkedIn or Instagram? And there is something called control. Okay, so the same thing would apply to AI. So you just check whether this particular task needs AI or not, whether it is completely human activity, like say watching a film or eating a food or something like that. Okay. Then after that you do then you just, okay, I need AI in these 10 instances, but let me check whether these are really needed. If not, you should be able to eliminate at least 3 or 4. Here I can do it myself and I don't need, and the only 7 places I will use AI. Then even though in those 7 AI actually, do I need to use each of them for 20 minutes or whatever that is, or can I reduce it to 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, something? So this intelligent approach you should take. It is something similar to you spending time on your mobile. So what actually is, you become more dependent on mobile either through addiction or carelessness. But then you, once you develop, see, I will not watch Instagram more than 10 minutes. I will not check LinkedIn for more than 7 minutes. So this kind of a quota, depending on your personality, you should decide. There is no an external answer to this question. It is a personal question, personal decision, personal discipline.
Okay.
It's like food, or it is like addiction to internet or Insta and all. So sometime what happens, you get addicted and you come out of it. Sometimes that grows and that becomes part and a parcel of your personality and all. But the question is very simple. I mean, the answer is very simple. Just monitor, check whether you really need that AI tool. Do you really want to depend on that? If the answer is yes, you kick that tool out of your category, and then check whether I'm using this particular tool more than it is needed. Then if not, then optimize that one and then come back. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Hope I have answered your question sensibly.
Yes, sir.
But I want to tell you, see, there is nobody is depending too much on AI today. We are in the very initial stages, and this question that we should be asking maybe after 2 or 3 years, because that time actually we become very addictive to that, and we get everything done through AI, and that is nothing wrong in that. See, remember one thing which most people don't tell you. See, we have been told from our childhood, and work is worship. That means the more work you do, it is better. Hard work is better. But please understand, work is not worship. Okay, getting work done by somebody else is worship. So humans are not born to do the work actually. They are born to get work done and use that leisure to live happily with whatever the activities they are interested. So if you are working, means it's not a very good thing, although it goes against common sense and wisdom that we have received. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I have some line in the last slide that will tell you, that will answer this question more clearly. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any other questions from anybody?
Yes,
Sir, I have a
so,
question.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
what
please.
key factors should we consider when choosing between Netlify and Vercel?
What's that? Come again?
So, what key factors should we consider when choosing between Netlify and Vercel?
What's that? Between what? First one, what's that?
Netlify.
Can you spell it? I mean, I'm not able to hear it clearly. Netflyer,
Yes, sir. Sir,
huh?
Netlify.
Yeah.
FY.
What is that actually? Can you tell me?
So, it is a hosting platform.
Okay. So the general question, see, actually, when you are hosting something, there are three things that would go. One is cost factor, one is reach factor, one is actually reliability factor. Okay. So one is cost factor, means actually, suppose you are doing it for some a non-profit or a student thing. Okay. Then any platform will do, because it is a testing, and it's kind of a experimentation. But then if it is a commercial thing, then actually you should be testing whether it's reliable, because if customers or thousands of customers are using, then you should never go down. And the bottom line is actually a cost factor. That means how much is going to cost and whether it is justified. That means you have 10,000 people, I mean 10,000 customers accessing it all the time, but then that time actually cost is okay. But then I can tell you an example from this cloud computing platform. See, whenever people actually host applications and all, now there's a global database. Okay, I mean global customer base. See, certain applications actually are not used in India for during the night hours. Okay, so now these hosting applications have certain options for you, so that when it becomes night in India and people are not using, they will actually off your service and they don't charge you for that. Okay, so you should figure out such services which optimize your cost and reliability and reach. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other question from anybody?
Yes, sir. So there's something I wanted to discuss actually. So there was this builder AI scam that happened recently where it was humans that were building apps instead of AI. So
Okay.
my question would be as to how the humans were able to code at such a speed, building a fully functional app in like minutes, as that was the idea they were marketing, and yet nobody could, catch on that it was a scam for a few years.
Yeah. See what happens actually. See, I told you that's the whole theme of this actually. There are some cognitive gaps in humans which nobody could I mean. It's very difficult to overcome. Okay. So humans developing apps. Okay. It has a certain natural limits. Okay. And only AI can actually help you to overcome that gaps. So if somebody says that humans can develop applications faster than AI, that is not true.
Yes, sir.
That's not, but that is true with any machine actually. If somebody tells I can run faster than your bike, that is not true. I can jump higher than an aeroplane. That is also not true. So when mechanization, because see, remember on these things, all these technologies, they are based on natural laws and they have a power which humans don't have. For example, a chat GPT or a Wikipedia can store a lot of information because they have a hard disks to store them, which we don't personally at a mind level, we don't have. So the very nature and very intent of a technology is to overcome human abilities at a given point. Okay. So any more other? I think I have answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
So
I had a question.
Okay,
yes.
tell me.
Sir, my question was that after doing the tech part, what should be our first step if we are planning on launching our website or something like that? Should we like go for funding? Should we just launch it and see how it goes?
Okay, see, for example, see, there is something also, whenever you start, you are an entrepreneur and starting up, there are two ways of actually looking at it. See, there's something called actually bootstringing. That means you use your money to support your enterprise. Okay. So now, suppose you have enough money, and if you think full confidence in your product, and it is always better to go with a launch, which is a sample launch, and see how customers will reply. Once you get a track, that means you get a good number of people, and that's the time you should be going to somebody to invest money. Okay, but if you don't have that, then the thing is actually you have to sell the dream, because in the earlier case actually you are selling the numbers. That means you say that 10,000 people are visiting and this is real and it's a worth that you should invest money because you have a data to support that. But suppose you don't have that, then you want to launch a product with the help of somebody's money, then you have to sell them the dream and also be ready to share some of your its value or a worth proportion to them. Okay, assume that somebody will come and say that I will invest 1 crore in you, but then I want 7% of the stake or 17% of the stake. Then that's how. So the answer to your question is actually, if you can support or if you can finance in the earlier stages, that is the most ideal thing, because that will help you to actually promote your product and also look at your project progress and figure it out whether people like it or not. Depending if they like, then you add a feature and reach more customers, or you can dump and go to another one. But if you don't have money at all in the beginning stages, then going for some kind of an investor like angel investor where, but the cost is that they may ask too much of price for that.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So anybody, any questions? Anything else I need to answer?
Yes, sir. I actually had another question. Just
Okay.
So you described AI as a world brain.
Yeah,
In
world brain. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yes, sir. So, how do you think, how far are we from that idea of AI as a world brain? How far are we globally in building such a system? And what are the challenges as that we are facing currently so that it's hampering our progress to make AI a world brain?
No, actually, see, world brain is a concept, but actually we are very close enough, actually, because see, if you look at the technology, for example, earlier we had this Wikipedia, right? So Wikipedia was also thought as a world brain in the sense, actually, anybody can access information to a large extent on any topic of his interest from wherever they are. So that was much bigger than the like book-based encyclopedias like Britannica Encyclopedia and all, which are closed and they are called the comprehensive source of knowledge and all. So if you go from that metaphor, encyclopedia was very good, but then it was not fully perfect because there were parts of the world which were not covered in that. So if you come to the world brain, actually it was supported by, I mean, it was actually imagined by H.G. Wells, who was a science writer. He said that I can develop this. I mean, one can develop this, but that time there was no technology. Now that we have a global network and this one kind of a global network, knowledge-based people are contributing, and we have this LLMs and all. So in my opinion, it is as far as the functional model is concerned, our working model is concerned, we are almost approximately close to 100% of global brain that we have. That means what that matters which actually is available in this, number one. Number two, actually, because of the interactivity of the computers and the networks, so every activity, every interaction actually adds up value to that. Means when you ask a question to that one, okay, then that question itself is added to that. In fact, inside global, I mean, Google, no, people say that Google is actually database of intentions. That means whenever somebody comes and asks for a question, there's an intention behind that. So it is a database of intentions, not information and all, because it keeps changing. So similarly, from that perspective, the world brain is almost practical, also working, and it is growing. And since it is growing, it is organic. It has reached the highest level as of possible today. Tomorrow it will grow again. But as of now, it is almost nearly perfect.
Yes, sir. So another
Well,
thing,
uh,
when building
yeah.
with AI, I've also seen that in web apps and applications and software that it creates, there's a lot
Okay.
of security issues. Like AI currently, which what I have worked with,
Hmm.
overlooks over some security measures, encryptions, and other factors relating to
Mhm.
security.
Okay.
So how are we supposed to counter that as developers?
It's what I'm telling you. See, I told you. See, okay. See, you are using AI as a helper, but not as a final decision maker. So that means you ask every question regarding the security gaps or loopholes in your system to AI, but then finally you do a human edit. I mean, human auditing to check whether it has answered all the question. And this is true for everything. For example, you ask AI to generate code, but you ensure that it doesn't do something which you don't intend to do. Similarly, you ask AI to develop, I mean, generate a document, but you just read and go through that and see that it doesn't write something which you don't want to convey. So the part which actually to answer your question, what you should be doing to avoid AI doing mistakes is a strong supervision from your side. So the plus point is that the drudgery work of creating a document, creating a draft, creating a security plan is given to AI, but actually supervising and checking it and double checking is yours. So humans and AI will become partners. So the legwork is done by AI, but supervision and control when final decision is done by you. So you cannot give that up.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Anybody else has any questions?
So I have another question.
Please,
Suppose we
please.
launched a MVP but didn't get
Uh,
much traction. So should
uh.
we take that as a sign to stop pursuing the idea or should we try to improve it and give it more time?
If the code, see what happens is actually the success rates of any launches is actually very less. In the sense, you see, this is true of anything. See, publishers actually publish thousands of books, but there will be one Harry Potter. Okay, and films are actually released every week, but then there will be one blockbuster. Okay, so it's a natural law which decides that every launch will not end up as a blockbuster. Every book will not end up as a Harry Potter. So now the question comes actually, how unique is your idea and how confident you are there? But many a times actually, now there are two parts. Actually, now we are not getting track. The question that you should be asking is the feature is not getting tracked or the very idea is not getting tracked. Okay, I mean getting the track. So then if you think it over, okay, then you say, okay, no, this idea is good enough, but then it is not correctly projected or correctly reached out. That means you are trying to market a product or a feature which actually is good for students, but that you are trying it to like housewives. Okay, so the to answer your question, basically you iterate once or twice and try to launch that to different audiences at different flavor, and if it's still not working, then you better you drop it, keep it on your back
Okay.
burner, keep thinking for some more time. Then many a times actually, like in films, and also some films are successful in their second release, right? So they did not make money in the early releases, and they made, because many a times timing is also important. Maybe you have a good feature, but time has not come, time is not ripe for that particular factor, I mean feature.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So anybody else,
Sir,
any
I
question?
wanted to ask,
Yeah, tell
yes,
me.
sir. Sir, I wanted to ask, how does AI help us in improving UI UX designs?
Okay. See, this UI UX design is all about what you want the customer to see on their screens. And there are three screens in this world: your mobile screen, laptop screen, and TV screen. Okay. Now UI, see, UI is a little complicated because it's technology plus the human. So human psychology and all. So now, if you ask a question like what color my screen should be, okay, then it goes by bias, taste, and your variety. Okay. So for example, after studying for 3 years and taking customer feedback from student people who are I mean, as old as 6 years to 60 years, Microsoft decided that their screens will always look blue. So blue color is their choice because they studied this. But I and you will not be having those resources and all. So this AI will tell you different scenarios and different possibilities where people will like or dislike a particular feature or a particular color or particular frame in your UI. So to answer your question, how AI will help you? So you can ask one question like, see, I want to develop an application for people who are aged between 12 and 25. Okay. Now, can you suggest me 3 or 4 different screen designs? So what it will do, as I told you earlier, actually it will go through all the databases because it's a global brain. Okay, it's a universal brain, and it will use that cognitive engine to check, verify, and say that this is what world has told here, this is what there, and then it will make you 3 suggestions. So that way, actually, it will give you a narrowed and actually filtered one and give it to you. Then you can test that one. Otherwise, humanly thinking yourself of different screens, I mean, different user interfaces, and then testing them is actually a very labor intensive. So to answer your question, you ask AI to check this is the audience description and this is the goal. Suggest me techniques, I mean, to suggest me the different screen sets or a screen design your screen, then it will answer. Then you screen them and test them. Yeah, anybody else? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any question that you want to ask?
So, like, as the current technology is improving day by day and new AI tools are also there, so
Hmm.
which you prefer that has better?
No, no, again, see, it's like, see, AI today is becoming like a language. That means in language and dictionaries and encyclopedias. No, there will be words, thousands of words. Okay. The question is not which is the important word. The question is what you want to tell or what you want to express. So if you want to express, say for example, affection, friendship, and these are the set of the words that you can use. If you want to express hate and like hate, and these are the words. So the question that you should be asking in the AI context is that which is the best tool. That question is makes no sense. What is the work for which is the best tool is good. Okay. So if you should start with like LLMs, then you should narrow down and then you figure it out whether a particular tool will meet your particular requirement. For example, assume that I'm developing a web-based document editor. Okay, then which is the best tool? The answer would be different. But then if I tell GI saying, I mean, ChatGPT saying that, see, I am developing this paper for people who have a visually challenged. That means their eyesight is not good, or either they are completely blind or something like. Which one they will? So the GI, I mean AI will answer with two different set of tools. So what made the difference is the question that you are asking, the purpose that you are trying to meet. So there is no generic answer to the question like which is the best tool. It's as good as asking like which is the best food. But food will not start with an item. It starts with the person who is eating, his state, his preference, and his goal. Okay. So to answer your question, so question should, the tool will be decided by the context, purpose, and the audience.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think I have answered your question correctly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, because it's an open-ended question. What is the most famous food in the world? It depends on whom are you asking, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have come to the ending time 1:30. So if you have still questions, I can still have some time to answer your question. Otherwise, I'll conclude.
So I think that would be all the questions from our side.
Perfect, perfect. Then let me conclude. Okay, so everybody should notice this. AI is a generic resource. Anyone can use. It's like language. So if you're talking to your friend, also you can use that language. If you're talking to a teacher, then you can use a language. So such things are called generic tools. So that means you go to a pawn shop and ask for a pawn. That is also language. So now don't hesitate to use AI because it's language. The more of the language you know, more the expression that you can make, more the communicate you become. So AI is a new language. You should be using it like any other language, like English and all. So you will always find a word in those languages to express your feelings, your intentions and all. Similarly, you will find a tool in AI which can help you to do a work. So treat AI as a generic resource. Some AI is also a solution in search of a problem. That means AI has a solution for all the problems. The question is that you should find the problem. Okay, I can't do this using my current tools. AI will tell you how to do that. And finally, as that girl was asking the question, see, the question is future is not to-do list. See, now most of us actually, we start our day with a to-do list. Actually, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, because this says work is worship and you should have work complete day. In future, you should have this list, get it done. So that means you list a work and get it done by AI. For example, I want to send an email, ask AI to compose that email. I want to design a user interface. Then you don't do it. You ask AI to do that. Similarly, I want to write a novel. For the outline, you ask AI. So the future is get it done. So identify the task that you think important or you're relevant to you and use an AI tool to get it done. Okay. That is the summary and that you should remember. So that would be basis of your career. A tool will come, a tool will go. But then your ability to identify the task and corresponding tool to get it done is very important. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is my connections. Okay. My links, coordinates. So if you want to contact me on email, this is my email. Okay. And if you want to get connected to me on LinkedIn, this is my link. And if you want to WhatsApp number, this is my number. Okay. So you are free to contact me anytime because I told you, 40 years of teaching. Actually, I have a lot many students alumni network and all, you will just get added to that sometime. Although you are not alumni in a sense. Okay. So please note down these links if you are interested, if you want to reach out to me sometime later. Okay.
Yes, we've taken a screenshot and we'll upload it to everyone else.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you very much. And
Thank you so much, sir.
hopefully I made some sense to
Thanks
all
a
of you.
lot, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully I
Thanks
made
a
some
lot
sense
from everyone, sir.
and shared something. Okay, great, great. Okay, so thank you very much. And if recording has gone well, please you can send that recording to me back.
Sure, sir. So your
Okay,
insightfuls and your knowledge helped us a lot in this session. We learned many new things and how this AI world is revolving each and every day. Thanks a lot,
okay.
sir.
Okay. So we also, I mean, for my students, we also conduct some hands-on sessions and all. And when I told your organizers, they said sometime in August the college will start. So if you are planning, we can do one session for you practical.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Bye then. Thanks very much. Where is Pragati Jain? Is still there? She's not there. Kuber is there?
Yeah, they are,
Kuber,
sir.
Yes,
They
thank
are
you
in
very
the
much.
actually
Yes, sir,
Pragati.
I'm here.
Pragati, thank
Yeah,
you.
she.
Bye-bye. Have a happy weekend.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much, sir.
Okay. Happy end,
Thank you, sir.
weekend. So if possible, you send the recording if there's okay. I'm leaving now the session. Bye-bye.
okay,
Sure,
sure,
sir.
sir.
We will share it.
Bye-bye,
Thank you
sir.
so
Bye-bye.
much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
So, guys, hope you all enjoyed the session. And tomorrow we are having the project submission. So, please prepare your projects by today night or by tomorrow morning. We will share a drive link. Please upload your projects there, and we will hand over your projects to these speakers, and they will judge how you produce. And according to that, we will distribute the prize pool as well as the certificates. So please submit your projects by tomorrow morning. Okay. We will conclude the session here officially. So you may leave now. The session is officially over. You may all leave now. It's over.